And go. Hi, Richard.
Hi, Brian.
How are
How are
you?
you today?
I'm very good. Thank you. Yourself?
Good, good, very good.
Excellent. So today I think that we have a very interesting topic, which is about resilience and scalable operations. So as we continue with this series, I think we are breaking down what it really takes to build a smart strategic operation in today's volatility, because many things are coming into the market, like
Hmm.
policies are coming into place, like for example packaging or EPR, and others are discontinued but not really discontinued, like DEI. So the
Mm.
systems start to get very, very volatile too, because actually things that were very useful or required yesterday today change to something different. And we are looking into how to build our resilience and scalable operations, and also the flexibility, and why so many systems that claim to support growth sometimes failed when the real world pressure hits. And this is exactly the same kind I think we can discuss today, because most enterprise platforms were built to for control, like a but not change. And today,
Yeah,
change seems to be the big thing that is changing constantly.
that's
So,
key. Yeah.
um, so perhaps the first question would be, what is resilience and what is scalability in a real operation environment?
Okay. Well, best way I could put it, resilience means that your operation can absorb disruption. It can
Right.
adapt to change,
Yeah.
and it can keep moving, right? Whether it's a compliance shift, a supplier crisis, a flood in your warehouse, or whatever. So, and scalability means that you can grow in
Right.
volume, in teams, in assets, in inventories, in customers without re-engineering everything.
Right.
Most businesses have neither. What they have is control or controlled chaos that works until something changes.
Right. Right. So so when so why then is adaptability to change the ultimate test for resilience then?
Yeah,
So
and I think
why
that's
that happened?
key, keeping that in mind, because
Yeah.
change is the new constant,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Um, it's not just the regulations, it's also customers, it's your workforce, your risk profile. If you have to start a project every time something changes, you're not
Yeah.
resilient,
Right.
right? You're just reacting. And that's what it is. Adaptability to change, it's a test, it's just another way of saying that, are you resilient? Can you adapt to change? It's pretty much the same thing. Yeah.
Right. So and I think that the perfect example is what is going on with EPR in
Yeah.
the UK, or packaging recycle. So that seems to be a stress test in terms of all this adaptability, resilience, change.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, EPR is, where policy meets execution,
Right.
right? It requires accurate production level data, jurisdictional logic,
Yeah.
supplier traceability, audit ready reporting. If you had to build a new silo,
Right.
call in consultants, or fudge your way through it, your system failed the resilience test.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. We've done another session on the fact that it didn't justify a silo.
Yeah.
It's not worthy of a silo. And if you had to create one to deal with it, then your current system didn't didn't hit the bar, right?
Right. Right.
EPR isn't the last test, right? It's the first wave in
Yeah.
what will be numerous changes to EPR itself and additional regulations and stuff like that, fee introductions potentially, that will be coming down the track.
Right. And we mentioned that I think in last session also, that actually all
Mm.
these new acronyms, new policies, new requirements for compliance should be embedded, really, or the capacity to be embedded into the same platform, rather than an add-on, as you mentioned, like oh, we have a new compliance requirements. Okay, let's put another spreadsheet or something like.
Yeah, let's buy another silo. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, in terms of separation of true scalability from growth, because here is a, I think everybody talks about growing, but growing also require things that are scalable, because actually you need to support the operation, you need to support all the channels, all the flow of things that's going on in the company. So, what is a true scalability from chaotic growth, if you may? Because then you start like
Yeah,
a,
what separates the two?
yeah,
Yeah, okay. Growth is just more, right? More
right,
assets, more users, more regulations, more data, right? Scalability, on the other hand, it means your system handles that growth without
right,
collapsing, that it integrates that growth without causing the system stress, without creating a need for additional tools. If
right,
growing means retraining your staff, buying another module, or establishing new reports and new tools and that kind
yeah,
of stuff, that's not scalable. It's a time bomb
right,
because change is the new constant, right? The
right,
one thing you can be certain of in today's business world, it's the one thing that's not changing, is that change is going to happen,
right, yeah. So,
right? So being scalable is expecting, without knowing exactly what's going to change, expecting that absolutely change will occur, and having an environment that's going to be able to adapt to it.
right. So in terms of technology, then, because the change that, or the changes never change is a change, if you may. So when you talk about technology, so what is the overcomplicating technology today, which will be the consequences tomorrow? Like, which is the best approach to see technology today?
Yeah, when you start overcomplicating, well, and your tech stack, right?
Yeah,
Your tech stack would be all of your systems, all of your
right,
various silos, right? Every new tool is another silo that needs to be managed, right? You get one for ESG, you got another one for risk management, another
right,
one for doing inspections, another one for supply chain management, right?
yeah,
Now your team's spending more time syncing tools than executing work, right?
right,
Our approach, Trinity simplifies the stack. GRC, and underneath that is ESG, and underneath that is EPR, right? Your tasks, your risks, your operations, all in one place,
right,
speaking the same language,
yeah,
right? So resilience should actually result in less tech that is better designed.
right, right.
That's
So
the way of, of avoiding,
so that you're saying that
over complication. Yeah.
right. So the design is sorry, the embedded resilience is in the design already. So actually,
Yeah.
it's already anticipating the complexities of the future. So giving that flexibility in the system, the platform, for whatever else is like. I think that yesterday you mentioned a very good example in terms of EPR, how packaging is part of their daily operations, anyways.
Yeah, yeah, that's correct. Resilience means your system can respond to change and disruption without collapsing under stress,
Right,
whether the trigger is internal or an external regulation, right? Um, and in Trinity, that's not a bolt-on, it's structural.
right,
Business logic is stored in configurable metadata. The data model is
yeah,
change tolerant. Different states, different master data, different enumerations, and
right,
workflows can evolve without rewriting core logic.
right,
They can also evolve in real time, right? Audit integrity is preserved across updates and actions and rule changes. And tasks, risks, metrics, and compliance are all interconnected, not fragmented.
right,
So
right,
you're not scrambling to plug in new rules or build temporary workarounds. You're
right,
adjusting the system in place with continuity and control. That's what embedded resilience looks like, not
right,
avoiding disruption, but being ready for it by
right.
design.
Right. So what Trinity do differently then? So what, yeah, and why it matters? But I think you mentioned
Well,
already, but actually just to make it very, very clear.
yeah, well, we don't treat JRC and ESG and APR, or operational excellence as separate departments,
Right.
right? We treat them as one system because they are one problem. Trinity turns insights into action. Risks become tasks. Policy is linked to controls.
Right.
Metrics feed reporting automatically, right?
Yeah.
Other systems chase compliance. Trinity builds it into how you work and
Right.
engage with the system.
Yeah. So that does make sense, even more sense when you say embedded resilience, because it's already
Yeah.
there from the architecture point of view. Yeah.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. It takes extra work, extra thought to
Yeah.
anticipate what may need to change and what can be the disruption of that change, right? You
Yeah.
get cascading impacts and stuff like that. So the code of the software, the logic of it and stuff like that needs to be able to address, what can change, what can't change, what are the like here's a good for instance. I'll just
Yeah.
give you a quick example. Say you've got a workflow built into the system.
Yeah.
And in our workflow environment, let's just say you wanted to reroute purchasing requests
Yeah.
through engineering approval, depending on the subject matter of the purchase request, right? Maybe
Right.
you need somebody qualified to approve that you're purchasing the correct thing.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a good example, right? So that's a new approval level.
Yeah.
Okay, so you reroute the approvals and say, all right, this is a new step. And now that guy needs to click approve before it goes on to, say, operational approval or financial approval.
Right.
Well, what can happen in a case like that is you can end up with orphans. An
All
orphan
right.
is an object that has a state, it has a workflow status that no longer leads anywhere,
Yeah.
right? Now, you could just manage that through consulting and making and there's various ways manually of managing that, ensuring that nothing's at that status before you apply a change to the process, whatever. But better is to actually anticipate that workflows are going to change, make sure there's an alert mechanism that identifies orphans,
Yeah.
potential orphans, and gives them a way out so
Right.
that there's a way of getting from that orphaned object back into a valid status so that you
Right.
can continue to follow a valid workflow. That takes extra work. It
Yeah.
takes expecting that a workflow is going to change and building for that,
Right.
right? That's resilience, right?
Yeah. So in terms of um, all these changes are going on in the market, like policies and
Mm.
things actually. What would be a final advice for founders, CEOs of mid-market companies? Actually, they expect, or they are facing complexities of large enterprises, but with the
Mm.
resources of
Yeah, look, you don't have to be a multinational to have a complex environment.
yeah,
All
yeah,
you need to do is have a business where you're
yeah,
trying to do well, you're trying to grow, you're trying to be profitable, you're trying to do the right thing, you're trying to follow the regulations, you're trying to do that profitably, right? So my final bit of advice for leaders navigating the next wave of change, or
yeah,
even the current change that they're experiencing, is to ask yourself whether or not you can adapt fast without panic
right,
to new regulations, to new expectations at the top floor that
yeah,
will reflect on the way you operate at the shop floor, right?
right,
You also want to ask yourself, can we grow without what we're using currently breaking, right?
right,
If the answer to either of those is no, then it's time to change how you change,
right,
right? How you change. You can absolutely expect that change will occur. You should have a plan for change, regardless of whether you know what those changes are going to be. EPR, I think, is a litmus test. It gave a lot of people a warning shot.
yeah,
Climate, social, AI regulation, they're all coming out fast,
yeah,
right? And I would suggest that leaders don't wait for chaos to happen to rebuild. Do it now, right? Trinity is our recommended solution. We built it for this purpose, right?
right,
It's not just software, it's a strategic foundation for your
right,
operation.
yeah. Excellent. Well, I think actually that's a sound advice. Just to have a platform that actually can adapt to changes as fast as the environment is changing. and anticipate what's coming next, or at least give it enough preparation for the next changes that are coming around, particularly when it's announced by the policymakers or the market itself. Like sometimes
Yeah, you
things are
also you
changing.
want partners in this kind of thing,
Yeah.
and we believe that what we have with customers is a partnership. You want your partner to care enough to be keeping an eye on the landscape to make sure that the system can support things that are coming down the
Yeah.
road.
All right. Well, I think now we can wrap up because actually it's plenty to digest here with this in
Hmm.
terms of resilient and scalable operations. What is one and the other, and particularly like the what you mentioned about the confusion that sometimes people have. What is scalability and growth is
Yeah,
two different things, and sometimes they are in. Is I say I'm used as a one means the same thing as the other, but actually it have nothing to do one to the other. One is adding more information. The other one is a structure that support this addition.
that's true. Yep.
So I think actually today we have a very interesting topic and a lot of thinking. And anyway, inviting everybody, if interested, to connect with us for to explore more, which are is their situation today, how we can help them to navigate these changes and future changes too.
Yeah, please do. Please
Yeah.
contact us. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Richard, and see you in the next one.
Thanks, Ryan. Have a
Thanks.
good day.
Bye-bye.